Hello and welcome back to Black Chat. I'm your host, Robbie J, and next to me is,
Hassan.
and today we're going to talk about relationships and the many intricacies involved. If you take some time out and make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to this video, we'd really appreciate it. We've been getting throttled in the algorithm for some reason. We have a lot of content that goes mega viral, but without you guys, without you subscribing, please let YouTube know that this content is worth your time, and we really appreciate that. So that's my little internal thing. And now we can get to the content. So I don't know about you, Hassan, but I got a lot of things that I think are wrong with relationships. But we have practically an all male audience.
Yeah.
So I think that we would be funny if we attacked women first, but I'm not going to. I'm going to attack men first. So my number one thing that I think that we struggle with as men is doing what's responsible. And this is kind of more of a serious conversation, but men in general, from what I see, they have a hard time taking responsibility for kids that they have, taking responsibility for bills that need to be paid. I see a lot of, especially in the manosphere, a lot of lack of responsibility and just wanting to push it off and being like, well, women are the bad guys, so I don't know why I need to step up. And I think that's a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about that.
It doesn't matter if you're in a messed up relationship or you don't like the mother anymore or whatever happened.
Yeah.
Your responsibility are your children. And the messed up thing about that is you have a lot of women that kind of badmouth the man or the husband.
Yep.
And it makes the children feel some kind of way. So then the guy or the man or the ex-husband or whatever, he's like, well, fuck all of them. You know what I'm saying? And that's usually a lot of times that's the case. I don't think it's every single time, but a large majority, I believe it's that.
Yeah.
The other part is the guy that just really only wanted one thing and kids just so happen to come out of it.
That's correct.
And that's the part I don't agree with. You know what I'm saying? So
I think that's the Andrew Tate side of life, where it's just like, get as much ass as you can and F those women and they stink. Now, I do think there are a swath of women that do stink. There's no doubt about that. But there's certainly a swath of men that stink as well.
Oh, yeah.
Who just absolutely won't take credit for what they've been responsible for. As you mentioned, when it comes to kids.
Yeah.
That's your progeny. So you need to get out there. You need to make sure that you're making payments and things like that, or taking care of them, taking them to school, taking them to practices. But I see a lot of just hesitation there as to be like, well, this is the woman's responsibility. No, it's your fucking responsibility. As a man, it's your responsibility.
Yep.
I'm going to look at you right at the camera and say, yours. But I hear that all the time, and especially kind of following because I've looked into it, I've followed some of Andrew Tate's content, and I just find it basically disgusting. It's not moral. It's certainly not appropriate. And I think men are using it as an excuse to treat women any way that they want. And, last I checked, at least how I was brought up, and I'm sure you were too, which was that women are not commodities. Women are people too, and they need to be treated like people. Now, there's disparities on the other side of the aisle too. We'll get to those in a little bit, but I kind of wanted to talk that through.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of his stuff. I think it comes from a place. Most times, even if it was a female, if you reversed it and it was a woman talking like he talks, it's kind of like it's coming from a place of hurt, in my opinion. Someone hurt him.
Yeah.
So now he looks at all women the same. And to be honest with you, some women don't mind being looked at that way. They look at themselves as a product.
You mean women with daddy issues?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Which can also be a man problem if you think about it.
Yeah.
We say women.
Daddy problems, they're talking about us.
You get it. That's absolutely right.
Yep.
So where do you think the phrase comes from? It comes from men lacking in their responsibility to do what's right. And I think it's a major problem in our culture.
Yeah.
And kind of disgusting, quite frankly. I see a lot of this. I know an example recently from some folks at work where someone's husband left her. So I'm going to keep it fairly ambiguous. Someone's husband had left and just decided to just throw their hands up and say, I'll catch you later. And I'm just like, well, and just like you said, I understand you not wanting to be with your wife anymore and you want to move on.
Yeah.
But in the same respect, to throw your hands up and leave your kids there, what the fuck is that? That's a messed up behavior.
And a lot of times they just go off and start a whole new family.
Yeah,
and say, forget the old family, I'm starting over. You don't get a do-over. You don't get to start. How are you starting over, bro? Like, no, now you have two families,
it's really
you know? So,
yes, yep.
hey, man, I'm not gonna say it is what it is, but it is what it is. You know, it kind of goes both ways though, if you really think about it. A lot of times, you hear on social media, oh, you as the woman, you chose them. But a lot of people, when you meet them, you meet their representative. You don't necessarily meet them.
That's a great point. That's right.
You really don't know someone until you move in with them, and then the second level of that is when you break up with them. That's when you know the true them.
Yeah, it's true.
When you're going through those issues or those problems, it's just like when you get married. I think people are kind of what do you call it in court when you lie?
When you perjure yourself.
And I
Yeah.
think they do
Right.
because
Yeah.
they say through thickness, no, what do they say? Through health and that whole
Yeah.
speech,
Right. All that.
you
Yeah.
know,
All that.
all that stuff, but
Through
but
sickness and in health,
yeah,
that kind of thing. Right.
I'm kind of tipsy. I've been drinking before I got here. I had one drink before I got here, so excuse me. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, we're on vacation. So anyway,
Yes. Right. A forced vacation.
yeah.
Right.
But anyway, through all of that, a lot of people they say yes, yes, yes to everything, and then when they get into the thick of it, when they're having issues, when they're having any type of problems, all of a sudden they're pointing fingers at each other.
Yeah.
You know,
But do you think so? Do you think that that's a manosphere problem, or do you think that's a cultural problem?
I think it's everyone. It's a manosphere problem. It's not just a cultural thing.
Okay.
I find it, no matter what, the culture, the race, the creed, whatever, it's always whenever someone is going through something, because I always look at it like this, and I tell people this: when you get into a relationship, you both promise each other something,
Yeah.
and when you get into a marriage, it's a business agreement. Hence, marriage license. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. It's a business agreement. You agree to do some things for me. I agree to do some things for you. We combine our resources and we create something great or something bigger than one person could create on their own. If you can't,
Right.
if you could, or whatever, whatever it is, you still combine forces and you create something. And a lot of times when one person goes down, the other person looks down at them, but that's not marriage, and that's why a lot of people just refuse to get married. I'm a relationship person. I like being in relationships. I like it's just I don't have to do everything by myself. And that's the
Yeah.
agreement you create with that person. Okay, we're getting married. This is what we're doing. Okay, we have this contract because that's basically what a license is. We have this contract. Okay, we're going to do this together. If I'm down or sick, then you're supposed to pick up the pieces. When you're down or sick, I'm supposed to pick up the
That's
pieces.
correct. Right.
And a lot of times when the next person is down and when they're having an issue, it all falls apart. And it's this thing, and you just think about it. You hear it a lot. When a man is unhappy, he stays in it for his family. When a woman is unhappy, she leaves for her happiness. And that's usually the truth. 90% of the time, that's true. And that's an issue.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I would say even taking it one step further is that a lot of what you'll hear from the manosphere is that men will be like, well, the system is stacked against us.
Yeah.
So no matter what we do, no matter what the decision is, whether it's, and I'm not getting into the topic because, people will freak out, whether it's having an abortion,
Mhm.
whether it is talking about, getting getting dollars from your spouse who left,
Mhm.
alimony, things like that.
Mhm.
When you look at that, that's what I hear constantly from men is, well, the system's stacked against me, so why would I even enter into a contract that's going to put me into a position like that?
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with you in that when you're having kids, you don't get the option to just be like, well, fuck off.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Nope.
work like that.
Nope.
You're tied now, whether
Mhm.
you like it or not.
Mhm.
And I have a real problem with men who want to skirt that responsibility. We've talked about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my kids are my number one.
Mhm.
I love Coach very much, but I would do anything for my kids. I'd take a bullet for them. I think most men feel that way, especially the good ones. Feel like their kids are what make them feel accomplished,
Mhm.
right? I feel successful because I see what my kids are able to accomplish,
Mhm.
and that reflects good on me.
Mhm.
So I can't get in the mindset of being like, well, fuck those kids because
Yeah.
they're from this lady and I
Yeah.
hate her guts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't understand. They're separate people.
Mhm.
They're two different people, but yeah, you're blaming them for your own mistakes.
Mhm.
And while I do agree that there's a lot of systematic issues that are framed against men negatively
Mhm.
and make it worse for us than I think for women sometimes, not all the time. I do think that people are just using that as an excuse. We have
Yeah.
a culture that loves to surround itself with what excuse can I come up with to get away with my bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, People use it's nothing but excuses. It's just like a guy say, well, she cheated, or a female say, he cheated. No matter what it is, you still created a product together, and that
That's right.
product is both of your responsibilities.
Yep.
You have to keep up that product, or the product will fail. And when they fail, you fail. Because I look at my children as a better copy of myself. At least they better be. You know, a lot of my children, and I have, how many children I have, but some of them are young, and right now is they're still in that molding phase, where I have to
Right.
mold them, and,
Yep.
with still my values in them, and my mother isn't here anymore, and that's how I'm able to survive, because she created me, and she and my father, they put up, they gave me their values and how to survive without them.
Right.
That's our job. Our job really isn't to live here forever. Our job is to procreate, recreate us, and train them basically to survive on their own.
And to be good members of society,
Oh
quite
yeah,
frankly.
especially that.
That's really important.
Especially because as a father, you look at your daughters, you know how they say, "Oh, you failed as a father if your daughter's on a pole."
Yeah.
Well, you failed as a father if your sons are locked up for some bullshit.
Yep. I totally agree.
So like I don't want to see any of that, So
Now, I mean, to be fair to the audience, I haven't looked up the statistics on this because we're kind of freeballing it today, which is more fun in my opinion.
hmm
But I would dare to say that the lack of fathers in the household, you will see a higher instance rate
hmm
of both of those situations.
Yeah.
The young men going into prison,
hmm
or young women going and figuring out that the only way that I can get money is to sell my body.
Yeah.
And I think that in and of itself, it's not a gendered thing per se, but the importance of having a male role model in especially women's lives, whether you like it or not, it's just the truth. Um, Young women need strong male figures in their
hmm
lives. It's just the absolute truth. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be your father. There's many examples of women that were raised by grandparents, things like that, and they had that strong male figure. But
hmm
I think without that, we really suffer, or they really suffer, and they do make bad choices.
Yeah.
And I think that's both men and women have that if they
Yeah.
don't have that. Now, so too on the other side, you need a strong female presence in your life too. You need your
hmm
mom.
hmm
Your mom. You need that nurturing. You need to know what self-sacrifice looks like. You need to know what. I don't think anything can be described better than a mom's love for you.
hmm
There's nothing truer than that.
Nope.
And these are traditional roles, but the man, I think, is usually seen as a disciplinarian.
Yeah. Yep.
And the female is seen as, oh, it's okay, dad's an
hmm
ass. We all know it, but
hmm
come here, give
hmm
me some hugs,
Yeah.
and kisses.
I believe, like, your mother is there to teach you how to love. Your father is there to teach you how to hunt. And
Yeah.
I'm not talking about with a gun or a sword or anything like that.
Yeah.
Teach you how to hunt, teach you how to survive. As a man with other men in the world.
Yeah.
I That's just what I believe. As you know, some of my story, my father wasn't there. He was, he was gone for a minute in prison. But at the same time, he said to me, he said, he told me a story where it was this guy he was locked up with, and he said his son came in there with him, and he said they both had afros and they looked exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I don't want to see you in here. I better not ever see you in here. And that right there, not saying that I was going to go into life of crime anyway, because I was scared I was terrified of that lady.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she beat me or anything, but just her presence, her voice, her look, and everything just gave me like, I'm never going to disappoint her. I think that's what it was. It was disappointment. I didn't want to disappoint her. And that conversation with my father and how she was, I said, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. Like let me just do this the right way.
I think that's important. I didn't have the same experience,
hmm
but most certainly, I mean, my parents got divorced when I was 6, and I had the benefit of having two strong personalities. And
Mm.
what I mean by that is a mom who took responsibility for what she was responsible for, and a dad who didn't just leave and just forget about us and
hmm
didn't care.
hmm
Now, my dad was also a police officer, so that just
Yeah.
added a whole
Yeah.
new level to it. But I think certainly having those two powerful role models in my life, even though they were separated and divorced,
Yeah.
still I think paid dividends, because at least from my dad's aspect, since we're talking about men, he was able to show me about what sacrifice looked like,
hmm
what preservation of your legacy looks like, what uh, just I mean, for lack of a better term, just not being selfish,
Yeah.
just being focused on other people.
Yeah.
I think was huge for me in teaching me I think the morals and the values that I have today were really from that.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about my mom in a minute because I know she watches these episodes, so I gotta give her some
Yeah.
plugs
Yeah.
too. But we'll get into that in a minute.
But it's how I always say, your kids are a copy of you, but they should be a better copy of you. But what I see is when we spoke about this, in each one of my children, I see a different part of me.
Hmm.
And it's like 100%. It's not 50-50. This one has this part, that one has that part. It's like I'm split.
Yeah, it's true.
And I said, let me back it up a little bit. I used to be the terrorist of my house.
Okay.
Like I have 3 siblings,
Yeah.
2 brothers and an older sister. And I was the terrorist because I was the spoiled one because I was the one who, read and did all the nerdy shit. And the other ones, they just did whatever,
Right.
So I was the spoiled one and I act like a spoiled brat. And I would harass them every single damn day. And one day my mother said, even my mother, I used to get her too. She said, your children are going to get you back for this.
Yeah, they were right. By the
And
way,
she was
mine said
100%,
that to me too.
she was 100% correct because my children are assholes. They are,
Just
bro.
like you.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
yeah,
That
yeah.
makes sense.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
they eat my shit. They take my shit. They don't ask.
That's
And when
right.
I say something to them, let me touch something of theirs, like we spoke about
Yeah.
that I bought. They
That's
get
right.
pissed. And I'm like, what the hell? This is mine. I bought it. But they're assholes. They pick with me. They crack on me. I said when I first started turning like getting gray hair, I told my daughter she had to be like 6. I said,
Yeah.
hey, look at my highlights. She said, that's gray hair. Those are not highlights, Daddy.
Yeah. See,
I
they
said,
love to. Yeah, they love to stick it to you.
I said,
Especially
okay.
as you get old.
I said,
Yeah.
okay, all right. But they're my children. What else am I gonna do? I
Yeah.
can't return them.
It's true.
Return them to sender, but you know how I get them back every time they harass me?
I mean, it's funny that you bring this up because I had the same conversation with my dad not too long ago, which was, or at least when I was growing up,
Mm.
he did this thing where it's a long story. Maybe I shouldn't tell the internet this, but I'm going to tell it. So I used to have this mouse that I would carry around. I used to call him Mousy.
A
right?
real mouse?
No.
Oh, I'm about to say, what are you doing?
I'm
It's
white.
Ratatouille?
I'm white, but I'm not that white.
Okay.
Jesus. So I used to carry around this stuffed animal that was a mouse. And I
Okay.
used to call him Mousy. And my dad invented this thing where it would come alive at night.
Mm.
So I would leave cheese out for it, and my dad would take bites of the cheese and put it back and shit so that I would think it was real.
Mm-hmm.
So when I found out that Mousy was fake and it was a big fucking lie because he lied to me,
Uh-huh.
I got pissed at him and
Mhm.
I was like, I will never do that to my kids. I will never make them believe shit that ain't real. And he said the same thing to me. He said, yes, you will. You'll do it. And I promise, and he said this is a quote. I promise you that you will do that when you get to be a father yourself. And damn sure if he wasn't right. I mean, everything from Santa Claus to other things. I mean, it's just true.
Mm-hmm.
It is really true that the lengths that you will go. And I think what he was targeting, or what I didn't realize being younger, was that he was looking at innocence.
Yeah.
Innocence is really key to
Yeah.
growing up, to
Mhm.
keeping that innocence, to having you think that the world is full of roses and that it's a
This is
wonderful
perfect.
place. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is very important for kids, I think, because they just need to have that at their core. Now, some folks will say, well, the world's not that way, so why would you want a kid believing that? You don't have kids, obviously, if you're
Mhm.
saying that. You don't get it. Just when you look at them and when they look to you for all the knowledge that's out there, you're basically their lighthouse. That's
Yeah.
how they look at you.
Yeah.
You're pointing the direction on where they should go. And that is an incredible feeling, but it's also kind of daunting too if you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mousy was fake, bro.
Mousy.
It was a big scam.
Yeah. I don't think I had any of those. I don't think I had. I don't remember having. No.
What
No,
about Santa Claus?
but no, yeah, of course.
Okay.
No, but you know how I found out that the Tooth Fairy was fake?
Oh, please. No.
I had to be around 5 or 6. Tooth came out. I put it under my pillow. I woke up, looked under my pillow. The tooth was still there. I went in there to my mother and said, "Mom, but the Tooth Fairy didn't come." And she looked at my pops. She looked at him, and I always had a big head. There's a lot of knowledge in here. And I'm
Yeah,
smart,
right.
you know. So I saw my pops going in there. I said, "I'm going there after him." And when he left out, I went under there. It was $1 under there. I said, "Daddy put that under there."
Yep.
That ended me believing in the Tooth Fairy because
Yeah.
they messed up that
That's
one
right.
time, you know. But you know, I did it with my children. Same thing, you know. Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus. Easter Bunny, all that, it is what it is,
So in this is kind of a funny look. Were were the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, and Santa, were they all black?
No, the
Really?
Tooth Fairy, I never visualized him
Yeah,
or her as anything. Well,
that's
her,
fair.
I can't see a man creeping in my room at night putting money under my pillow, so I always thought it was a female, a woman.
Only if they work for the U.S. government, clearly. But go
But
ahead.
yeah, Santa was white. Easter Bunny was pink or white, so it's like,
Okay, all right, fair
you
enough. So
know,
Santa was white.
yeah,
Okay,
it
I'm
was,
shocked by
yeah,
that. All right. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. It's like right now. I mean, I know it may sound weird to the audience, but every time I see a black Santa, I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
Santa's white, But yeah, they're
It's
they're
a
gonna
little
get me.
cringy to see the black Santa. I got to be
They're
honest.
gonna get me, bro. They're gonna get me. They're gonna get me because I said Santa's white. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
care.
hey, you love to see when white people, after all of our history, brought you presents. Love to see
Yeah.
it. Look
Uh
at
huh.
us. We're making
Yeah.
amends. You see? Yeah. Yeah. It's no problem. We got you.
Oh
So,
man.
so where do you think that we've talked about men? Where do you think that women are going wrong in our society?
Um, I think that whole conversation of that 50-50 thing. I don't know if you follow that. Like they've been saying, women are saying they will not enter into a relationship with a man that wants to go 50-50 with bills and everything.
Interesting.
And the argument is, okay, so you would rather pay 100%. And I just saw it today. This is weird that we are talking about this today because just early this morning I saw this woman say on TikTok that she'll get two jobs before she goes 50-50 with a man. How does that make sense?
Right.
So you would rather overwork yourself, have two jobs. She said she would work 7 days a week just so she won't have to go 50-50 with a man. That makes zero sense.
So you're talking about empowerment, like the women's empowerment thing?
I guess that's what it is. I don't
Okay.
I just don't get it. If I am making a significant more amount of money than you are, and if I'm in a relationship, I don't expect you to go 50-50. Buy the groceries, pay the cable bill, pay the internet, something like that. I'll take care of the mortgage, everything else.
Right.
But if we're making equal amount of money, this is just my view on it. Yours may be a little different. Mine is if we're making a good amount of money, both of us, our money goes to the same pot. And if you're in that type of relationship where it doesn't, which I know some people in that type of
Yep.
relationship,
Same.
then we should go 50-50 because if we're not, you're saving all of your money, but I'm spending all of mine.
Right.
So then when comes time for us to split, my money is gone, but you have a nest egg. That makes no sense to me. And I don't think
Yep.
women look at it that way. And they always bring it back to, oh, our grandparents this. Well, when our grandparents were coming up, a lot of women couldn't work anyway.
Right. That's correct.
So are they going to be their grandmothers where they cooked, cleaned, catered, washed feet, washed backs? Are they going to do what our grandmothers did?
No, because that's not empowering. That's my point.
But they,
Right.
but they still want us to pay all the bills.
Well, I mean, I can't argue with you there. I mean, Coach and I have our money set up to where we have one pot.
Hmm.
Both the paychecks come into a singular place and we
Mhm.
pay the money. Anything left over is for both of us. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't really divide bills. And you're right to say there's a lot of people that do that
Hmm.
where they're just like, oh, well, I have 50 left over for the month, so I'm going to go do something I want to do.
Mhm.
I don't really view it that way. My thing is, if we have 50 left over, then I'm taking everybody out to dinner or something. I mean, I guess you can't take people out on $50 anymore.
Yeah.
That's not in this economy.
Mm.
But you know what I mean. When you
Yeah.
have leftover funds, it's for everyone's use, not just you. And
Yeah.
I think entering into a relationship like that where it's fairly selfish,
Hmm.
I think is kind of fucked up.
Hmm.
But moving more towards, I think this is I talked about what my dad showed me, what my mom showed me was resilience. Being a single mom and having to deal with what she had to deal with working a jobs to make sure that we had the income that we needed, making sure that she took care of the house, making sure that we were fed, that we had the nice stuff. All those things my mom did to make sure that we were whole.
Hmm.
And I think that showed me the importance of having a mom in the house who's resilient
Yeah.
and who's hardworking. I'm not big on this whole like, well, women need to be trad wives and stay home.
Yeah.
Whatever. Fuck
Yeah.
that.
In the kitchen cooking, all that.
You
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
So, but to each your own. I mean, if that works for your situation, I'm fine with that. But
Mhm.
I don't know how in 2025 you can have a relationship where you don't both work.
Yeah.
Because things are expensive as
Mhm.
shit. I mean, unless you're living in like some like small little cramped apartment and you have 9 kids. I don't know how you do
Yeah.
it, but to each their own. I'm sure there are people that do that.
Yeah.
You know, they talk about Dave Ramsey and his saving techniques, and that
Mhm.
works for some people. I don't really quite understand saving up for 35 years so that I can finally buy a car. It
Yeah.
doesn't work.
No.
You know,
No.
I can't do that. But
No. And even when it comes to that, I think a lot of people want needy people.
yeah,
They want
yeah,
someone to need them, whether you're male or female. Some men
yeah,
don't mind um being subjected to control. They don't mind it. Like if you're a man and you don't have a job or you don't have a certain amount of income and you're moving in with a woman with her own everything, she's going to set some rules and some laws in her home. You
yeah,
know, where you're going to have to do what she tells you to do, or you're gone and you're out and you're homeless. And it's the same thing with a woman moving in with a man that you don't make money or probably little, and it's going to be his rules, his regulations, his laws. And that's an issue because I don't want a weak partner. The reason why I don't want a weak
right,
partner is because what happens if something happens to me and my money or my health? Then I'm with a weak partner and I've been doing everything and making all the money, and now she's sitting there and she can't do anything. We're both dead.
right.
We're both out. And when you think about having children with a weak person, if something ever happens to you, she's not strong enough to take care of your children. So why would you want that type of partnership?
That's a good point. I mean, I told Coach since we got married that we were a dual income family,
Hmm.
that we both needed to work, we both needed to have our own nest eggs and stuff like that. Because as you said, if one of us were to die, like what does that look like?
Hmm.
What does it look like for the kids?
Yeah.
And not having any skills to work on things like that, I
Hmm.
think you're right, it's a detriment.
Yeah.
Um, I do think there's something to say about, since we're on our forced vacation right now, there's something to be said about having someone stay at home during the day while you're at work.
Mhm.
It's actually kind of nice because I come home and everything's fucking clean, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Oh, I'm getting dinner ready. I'm like, oh, this is
Mhm.
cool. Look
Mhm.
at us. Look at us.
Yeah,
Oh,
getting dinner ready at 2 o'clock, and by the
right.
time you get home,
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? There's some
Yeah,
situations where one does stay at home,
that's right.
and then nothing gets done.
Yeah, I know.
Whether you're
That's
male or
true too.
female.
Yeah,
You're a man and you're sitting home. Your wife or whoever she is, your girlfriend, she's at work, and you're just sitting there playing the game or scratching your ass or doing whatever.
right.
And she comes in, you're about to get kicked out, bro. But the messed up part about it, and since we're talking about relationships, when it comes to a man, a lot of men deal with that and accept it and try to change her to be different. Like if I'm working all day, you're home with the children. You say, "Oh, that's a job too," because I agree.
It is a
Dealing
job.
with children,
Yes.
it is a job.
Yep.
But at the same time, if I'm making the money, bringing everything home, then you should take care of the household, and vice versa. If
Well, it's the job, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the job.
it's the job.
It's the job you signed up for. If that's what you signed up for,
Correct.
or even if it's temporary and something happened and you have to, then this is we're in a relationship. Why be in a relationship with a person when you're not gaining anything? That's why I believe it's a business arrangement.
Yeah.
Whether you're in a marriage or in a regular relationship, it's a business arrangement. I give you something, you give me something. And I'm not even talking about sex. I'm talking about just overall adulthood, the things you're supposed to do as an adult to maintain your household and maintain your home.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about being a team,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we say that all the time in this house,
Yeah.
which is we're a team. And if someone's down, as you mentioned earlier,
Hmm.
if someone's sick or someone can't do something, then you have to step up to the plate and get
Hmm.
the shit done, regardless of whether you're the person that works all the time or
Hmm.
you're home or
Hmm.
you both work. That's the way that it goes. I'm very grateful that I have a relationship that works like that.
Hmm.
But there are some, as you said, that don't. I
Mhm.
find, I think it's more cultural from this aspect. Is just like the selfishness that I see sometimes is kind of grating as
Yeah.
shit. I'm just like,
Yeah.
how do you function as a cohesive unit when you're just obsessed with yourself and
I don't
what
get
you
it.
get to do and when you get to do it?
I don't get it.
Yeah, I
I
don't
would
either.
rather be alone by myself and do everything on my own than
Right.
deal with someone else's bullshit.
Yep. I agree with
Imagine coming home and you're tired, or even if you don't have a tiring job, and you come home and the person is just laying there and just sitting there, like,
Yeah.
get out.
Right. It's a resentment.
Yeah,
Resentment builds.
yeah.
Yes,
Like you're
no
home
doubt.
chilling, watching TV and eating cookies and shit,
Right.
and I'm at work dealing with assholes. Come on, bro, get out. Like I can do this by myself.
Yeah, I totally agree with
You
that.
might as well be by yourself. I truly do believe if you can't, especially in this time, 2025, we know how much groceries and rent and mortgage and
Yep.
all that costs. If you don't have money to be in a relationship, don't be in a relationship.
Yeah, that's really true.
People always say, oh, you're always basing everything on money because it is. What can you do without money?
Nothing. Could be a professional complainer. I see a
Yeah,
lot of that.
yeah,
I see a lot
yeah,
of complaints out there. Right?
yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, you shouldn't even be in a relationship. And then, talking about because we're on the woman subject, a lot of women are saying, you shouldn't even be in a relationship if a man doesn't have money, he shouldn't be in a relationship. Well, there's a lot of women out there who aren't, financially stable, and they're looking for men with money. So
Man.
why aren't we talking about them?
That's a great question. I mean, that's a whole other episode, I think, when we talk about the dating realm right
Yeah.
now. I feel sorry for my kids having to go into the dating realm. It
Mm,
looks like it's a nightmare. Um, Now, to be fair, these man on the street videos are probably edited, to only find the
mhm,
people with the
of
dumbest
course.
opinion.
Yeah.
We get that, but there's some truth to them, right?
Hmm.
Because they'll interview some. Well, how much does a man need to make for you to date him? And they're like, oh, like 300,000 a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's fucking ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Listen.
This entitlement culture.
Yeah. I always laugh at those videos, and I'm looking like it's sort of like the ones where you have the less attractive females and males. They saying, "Oh, what a woman or a man should look like." I
Mhm.
just saw something earlier. It was a guy. He said, "So does height matter to you?" And they said, "Yes." And he said, "Okay, men can't change that, but let's see what you can change." And he put a scale down and says, "Step on that scale."
Yeah,
I
that's
said,
a good one.
"What?"
Yeah.
It makes sense, but it's all sort of on those lines. Like a lot of people expect things that they can't contribute themselves. They don't bring that to the table, and they expect someone else to.
Yeah.
You want a man or a woman to make. You usually hear the women say it. So since we're on women, you hear them say, "Oh, he has to make at least six figures."
Right.
And from if I have my numbers correct, there's only a top, but only 3% of black men make six figures.
Okay.
If I have those numbers correct, that was the last number I heard. So if you have 3% of black men that make six figures and
Let's
up,
shit.
that's a small percentage.
Hassan, let's just say it's 10%. That's still 90% that don't, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's just inflate the
So
statistics.
who do you go with? Like, where do you go? Who do you like? Who are you women talking to? I don't get it.
Well, I mean,
You expect them to make that, but only let's use the 10%. It's only
use the
10%
10%,
in the
right?
US.
Yep.
And a lot of that 10% probably already taken.
I mean, from what I'm seeing statistics wise, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, especially,
Mm.
they're not even having sex anymore. Like, they don't touch each other. There's a huge swath of, because as you said, those guys who are making that
Mhm.
100K or whatever they're making, they're getting all the ass. So all the rest of the guys are just like, well, what am I supposed to do here? And I think that's, we touched on social media in our first episode, but I
Mhm.
think that's the dark side of social media is that you can get in touch with a Russian woman who lives obviously in Russia. But back in the day, you used to just have only the women that were in your community
Yep.
that you could
Yep.
date. And it was just, it was just the way that it was.
Yep.
So that's why, like, some ugly guys would get some good looking women
Mhm.
because that's all they had.
But it was always the ugly ones with the money, though.
Yeah,
They
that's
had
true. That's true.
the money of the
Oh,
car.
money in the car,
You're
right?
like, damn, I ain't
Yeah.
getting none.
That was
You
the
know,
big deal.
But right now, the situation or everything is just like what they call the old heads, which is be considered you and I. The old heads are getting all of the ass because we're the ones with the money.
Hate
I'm
to
not
see it.
saying you're married,
Right.
but you know what I'm saying. And the younger ones that don't
But
really
you're
want
saying
to,
if I wasn't, then
you would be getting a lot of
all right, I'm
ass.
gonna send Coach a text real quick.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they're saying. Like the old quote unquote heads are getting a lot of because they look at it as like more stable. We've been in the game. We're a little bit more mature, even though I'm extremely immature. But they don't look at it
Me
that
too.
way.
Yeah. That's true.
And the younger ones, they really don't want to do anything. The ones that I know, like thank God, my sons, took after their mother and their father wanted to do something.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the theory right now.
Yeah. No, I also think another problem with women is I- I'm gonna get some flack for this one. Is maturity level.
Mm.
Like they always like to talk about how men are immature and things like that. I
Mhm.
see a lot of women who are absolutely immature and silly
Mm.
and say the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Mhm.
That's again, these are generalizations. This isn't all, but most certainly, I get kind of tired of that. It's just like there's no critical thinking anymore. It's just
Mhm.
like the bare bones. This is the dumbest thing I can think of, so it must be this way.
Mhm.
But I see a lot of, especially younger women, who are very immature, and I'm just like, why would you know? Are you surprised that an older guy will come in and just tap that and then
Mm,
leave? I mean, are
mhm,
you surprised when you do? What do you bring to the table?
mhm.
It seems to be our
Yeah,
constant theme that we
and,
keep
and they'll
going.
say, "I'm the table."
Right?
What?
Yeah.
You're the table?
Yeah.
You're the table. Okay. All right.
Maybe when your ass is that big, you're the table because
Yeah.
you can set shit
Yeah.
on it. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Well, and from what I'm hearing is it's like a lot of the guys with money, they have a lot of options. So, which kind of do.
Yeah, they do.
And
No, I agree with that.
you have to understand that there's a lot more women in this world than men.
That's
That's
true.
true.
Right.
So we do have a lot more options.
Yep.
So a lot of times, a lot of women are stuck with, I'm gonna call them the bottom of the barrel, mid barrel, I don't know, but they're in the barrel.
Yep.
So they end up what they end up with, and we kind of run through them. It's bad to say, but I'm not talking about me, but
I agree.
we kind of run through them.
But I'll submit this: even the ugliest woman has a better chance of getting laid than the ugliest man. Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think so.
because the ugliest man has to have money.
Something,
It's yeah.
something, or a really, really good personality.
I heard that one before from somebody. I was like, "Why did you?" He was just nice to me. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, right?
I'm not
Okay.
being nice
Yeah.
to you.
No, right.
I'm not being nice. Sort of like God bless him, Biggie. Big had Little Kim. Have you seen Little Kim when she was younger? Shit, Little Kim looked good as hell,
Yeah,
and she was with Biggie. Biggie had cross eyes. He was fat.
yeah,
It
but
could-
don't you think that Biggie exuded masculinity though?
he did.
Right. I
He
think
did.
that
So
was
that was
part
his
of it.
thing. That's what he
Yeah.
had. And then because they were together before Fame,
Oh, yeah.
and then he had a little money, in the streets, and he got older and became a rapper, so it was
Yep.
even more, But yeah, you have to have something.
R.I.P. mate.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
yeah, Big. But
R.I.P. But no, I definitely think about that sometimes, and it's just like, one, I'm thankful for not being in the dating sphere, as I mentioned earlier, but it's also funny because, like, I'll make fun of Coach and kind of just steer the conversation a little bit differently. Like, the things that she does sometimes just
Mm.
are really kind of unbelievable. I'll give a good example of this, and I make fun of her about this all the time, which is there was a night where I heard noises outside. Right. So I have a handgun in my bedroom. I'm not going to tell you where, but I have a handgun in the bedroom and I got it out. That's how much noise was happening. I was like, something's up. Someone's, skulking around the house. Something's not right.
Mhm.
So I grabbed the handgun out and I, get it loaded, whatever. And she's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "Shh." Like, "Coach, stop. What is it? What's happening? What is happening?" I'm like, "Coach."
She wasn't that
No,
loud.
no. Like, I'm telling you. No, there was no one there. Probably an animal or something. I'm telling you right now, if we were in like a zombie apocalypse or something, we're both dead. Because she's given away our location. Everyone, fucking the guy down the street knows where I am. Because Coach can't. She just can't be quiet.
Mm.
I've had this happen multiple times, and
Wow.
I rip her ass about this all the time because I'm like, "Coach, when I say shh, I mean shh. It's not a man telling you to shut the hell up because you're a woman. I'm saying shh for a reason." Because something's up and my antenna are up and I think something's wrong.
Wow.
And to have you screaming at me just gives away our position and now
Wow.
we're both dead. So I make fun of her about that all the time. I don't know if you've had similar experiences.
No, not really. It's because I also keep,
Yeah.
one of my pistols in my room.
Yeah, of course. Right.
And I heard something knock, and I immediately grabbed it. Everyone's quiet.
Oh, they're quiet? Okay.
Everyone's quiet.
Okay.
Daddy about to do his thing. That's so it's my case, but I see
What
what
was it?
I recently started getting these filters for my HVAC system delivered.
Okay.
And I forgot what they call them, but they bend up. So they come in a little box, but when you undo them, they span out.
Okay.
And when you put them into where you put the filters, when the air comes on, it sucks it up, but it knocks because it's not as thick
Yeah,
as
I've
the.
heard that. Yep.
And I said, okay, I see what it is. And that's now I'm used to the noise.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. But you thought it was a knock?
It sounded
Fair
like someone was walking in there, and I'm like, oh, somebody about
Yeah,
to
that-
die.
Yeah, you get it.
But hey, I have to protect me and mine.
Yeah, coach would be yelling about it. Oh, she missed.
Who's in there?
Right.
You know what? That's like our episode of what we talked about with white people in movies. Y'all walk towards it, like, what's going on? Who's over there? Us
Yeah.
be like,
That's really true.
something.
I mean,
That's
I mean, you're not wrong. We got Halloween coming up, and I've never seen a people more scared than y'all. You know what I mean? You're petrified of every goddamn thing,
Have you
from a ghost to
Yeah.
dogs. I've seen you seen the dog videos?
Yep.
Where the guy would be knocking on the door, one
Yep.
dog. I mean, to be fair to this guy, there's a viral video where the guy is, I guess he's an Amazon. He knocks on the door, and the dog comes right through the fucking door.
Yeah.
I'd be petrified too.
Mhm.
To be fair.
Mhm.
But y'all are scared of dogs, ghosts,
Listen.
aliens, fucking everything.
I don't know about aliens, but
Okay.
yeah, then again, we might be. You never know.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's just instinct. That's why I don't understand how many of us die in horror movies. How? That's misrepresentation, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's because we put you in there and we decided that'd be the easiest one to kill off, obviously.
Nah.
We don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Nah,
Right.
it's just like this thing. It was an experiment where one black person got up in the college and ran. And he was just running through the college, and other black people said, well, I'm running too. So when he got outside, there was a bunch of people running with him, and he turned around like, what y'all running for? We're like, we don't know. You saw you running.
No, it's really true. It's probably the opposite. I mean, it's the horror trope. You're right.
Yeah.
Black guy dies first, but in real life, it would probably be all the white people because we're like, oh, what's going on out there? Yeah. Like Coach.
Who's out there?
Another thing I find is that I get a lot of conversation, not to put too much on the internet, I get a lot of conversation about the snipping. What do you think about getting snipped? Like from a relationship perspective, and I understand, like I make the joke with Coach all the time where I'm just like, well, get your tubes tied. That's a very invasive surgery, and I know I'm being an ass by saying that. And I'm just like, oh yeah, get a hysterectomy, get all that shit taken out. It is easier for the guy to get snipped.
It is.
But it's also petrifying. Thoughts?
Yeah, because you think it's not going to work anymore. At least theirs will still work, but
Right.
it's still going to work. But ours, we like it's a chance. What is that? 1%.
It's a 1% chance.
That it may not work. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do that.
It reminds me of Man of Steel, or no, it was Batman versus Superman, where where Batman's talking and he's talking to Alfred, and he was like, if there's even a 1% chance that Superman's a bad guy, we have to take it as a certainty. And I'm like, that's me when it comes
Yep.
to being snipped.
Yep.
1%
Yep.
chance means that my penis won't work anymore, and I'm out.
Nope.
Forget it. It's not even worth it.
Nope.
It's not even worth discussing because it freaks me out.
Not only that, like they say your balls swell up to like 3 times the size.
Man, I don't,
And you have to sit on a hemorrhoid pillow for like a week. I don't know. Comment below if this is
Yeah.
true. Let us know. Give us some information.
yes.
because
Would you
our
get
information-
snipped?
Yeah, if you have, let us know your experience. I don't know because I don't want to do it.
I'm literally petrified. I don't. That's not even a joke. It's funny, but I am petrified because Coach has been asking me for probably a half of a decade now to get it done, and I'm just like, I can't go there. I'm too afraid. I have to make sure that the doctor is world renowned. Like this is the only thing he's ever done is snip people's penises
Ever
ever.
since he was 2.
Correct. Because I got to find the best doctor in the
Yep.
world that he'll make a mistake.
Yep.
So that's petrifying, but she always ripping my ass.
Listen,
up.
I'll take a pill before I get that. And they need to come up. Do they have pills for us?
I don't know.
But then again, it might cause it to stop working.
Yeah. See,
Nope,
here we
never
are
mind.
again.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope, not doing it.
Hate to see this.
Mm-mm.
That's a good.
No,
That's
not doing it. Not doing it. Fuck that.
Yeah, me neither.
On another note,
Yeah.
there's something that I thought about. This is pertaining to women.
Okay.
I don't know if your wife does this. When we're out eating, she'll order something, I'll order something.
Oh God, I already know where you're going. Go ahead.
And they want to taste our shit. Why the fuck you ain't order it? Like, this is mine. Let me eat my food. And then you let them taste it. Oh, you want to taste mine? No, I didn't want that. I would have ordered that. I don't want it.
Right.
And another thing, have you ever asked your wife, are you hungry? No. You go out and get you something and you come back and they eat your shit.
Yep.
Bro, that's, that
All the
breaks
time.
up relationships. That's why I'm bringing this up because I've heard that causes friction in the household.
So I saw a video where a guy would go to Chick-fil-A and he would get whatever he got and bring it home for her because he knew that she was going to want some.
They
Sure
want us
as
to be
shit.
psychics.
Yep.
That's what they want.
Right.
Well, I wasn't hungry 20 minutes ago. Ow.
So my big thing with Coach, I don't know if you feel this way too. When I get an ice creams, as I call it, it's not it's ice cream. I know how to say it, but I say ice creams. When I bring ice creams home, I want the first bite. It's mine,
Mhm,
right? Or
mhm,
if I bring a sandwich home from Chick-fil-A
mhm.
or I get some fries, the first one is fucking mine.
Yep.
But damn sure if every time I don't bring something home or she's in the car with me and she's like, "Can I have a taste?" And I'm like, "Not until I have my taste." No, you don't get a fucking taste. I just find I don't know, that's caused a lot of angst in our relationship.
Mhm,
She hates when I do that, but it's really true. If it's my thing that I've purchased,
mhm.
then it's mine.
Yep.
And if I'm sharing with you, the sharing's a benefit.
Mhm,
But yet her expectation is, no, I get first shot. I'm like, the fuck you do.
mhm, mhm.
Well, I think that's messed up.
It
What do
is.
you think, coach? Do you think that's messed up?
Nope.
'Cause I do.
Nope. You know what? That's why sometimes some people eat in their car before they get in the house.
Amen, brother.
Eat it
Done
in the
that
car
before.
or
Yeah.
eat it at the restaurant.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
was one time I went out and I'm like, I'm not going back in the house. I'm just gonna eat here with some seafood. I had shrimp and lobster and French fries and beer, and I just ate it there.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Ate
You
it
have
there.
to.
Dinner, they know you eat. Not hungry. Why not?
Why do they do that though? Why don't they just be honest? Why aren't y'all honest about what you want?
Just say it. Like they want us to be psychics. We're not psychics.
Yeah, we're not good at that stuff. Listen, I can barely keep it together every day. I mean, and
Yeah.
she knows that too. I mean, that's why Coach is a scheduler for us.
Mm.
I can't keep all that straight.
Yeah, me either.
That's where she comes in. She's an ace.
I always explain to people I'm a doer. Like if I'm right now, I'm go and do this. I don't plan well at
That's-
2 o'clock. I'm
yes,
going to.
correct.
That's not me.
Right.
I'll just jump up and do it.
Jump up and do it. Right.
Like
right.
if I'm like, okay, what am I gonna eat? All right, I don't have this in it. Let me go to the store right now.
Yeah.
But then when I have to go to the grocery store on Tuesday between 10 and 2, like, come on, that's too much.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm not a planner.
I don't know if you find this the same way, but I asked Coach to tell me what the schedule is. Tell me what I'm doing. I'm happy to help. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mean it like that. It's not like,
Mhm.
oh, really? You're telling me to do that?
Mhm.
It's just like I like to know ahead of time.
Yeah.
So, if we have, like today, we weren't sure we were going to be able to record today because I had 100 things on the list.
Mhm.
And then Coach was just like, I'll record. I'll take care of all of it, which is
Mhm.
great. But in the same respect, I like her just coming to me in the morning and saying, these are your things for the
Yeah.
day. Figure them out. Great.
It makes
I
it
love
easier.
that.
That sounds easier. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice. Now, does she always do that? No. She usually comes to me about a half hour before and she's like, by the way, we have to do this thing. And I'm like, Jesus, what the fuck?
Well,
How am I supposed to get this done?
Why don't you have a calendar like we have for
That's a
blackjack?
great question. Well, because the calendar keeps getting deleted. That's why.
Create a calendar, and share it with the kids.
I mean, to be fair, Coach does have a family calendar. I don't really look at it. It's here. I can bring it up real quick. It's here, but I don't use it. I
Mm.
refuse. It's called the Family Calendar. We have to cut that out.
Yeah, I'll cut it.
Thank you. But anyway, so she's got a calendar and I look into it. So whatever. I don't get it.
Mm.
But yeah.
Yeah.
All
We
right.
good?
Yeah. Appreciate you.
Oh no, there's
Oh,
one
you
more
got
thing. There's one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
We're gonna end it with this.
Okay.
Why do white people eat weird shit?
It's a great question. So I don't know if anyone saw my video where I basically apologized. I just want to make this clear. So I think some people took this a little out of context. One person in particular, and I would out him on the podcast. I know he's a watcher, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it real. But he came back and he gave me a clapping emoji. You know who you were. You gave me a clapping emoji saying, hey, I'm glad you admitted your racism. And my thing was, that's not really what the video was. I was just making fun of white people because there are some things that we do that are disgusting.
Mhm.
And I wanted to highlight that so that people don't think I think that only black people are the weird one. That's not true. But it wasn't an apology, okay? Y'all do eat some weird shit. And I'm going to stand behind that. And I know that someone commented, which will remain anonymous,
Mhm.
oh, he really revealed himself. No, I've been revealing myself for 6 months. I don't know what, this isn't new.
It was a question.
It was a
like
question.
but and I looked at it like this. I didn't, get offended, and I'm black, I think. I didn't get offended. My thing is we all see different nationalities, different, people from different countries eating things that we would be considered weird.
Right.
Like some people eat raccoon here in the United States.
That's
I
weird.
think that's weird.
It
And,
is
and
weird.
black and white people eat it.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
they looked at it as, oh, look at him. He showed his colors. He's racist. Come on now. I don't see it. I really do think if Rob was racist, I would not be in his home right now.
We
No matter-
wouldn't be doing something called
Or
blackjack.
Like really, a racist I don't think would let another black guy in his home, around his children, and around his dog named Oreo. I don't think so. The dog name is Oreo. I renamed the
Your
dog.
name's
The-
not fucking
It
Oreo,
is
bro.
Oreo, y'all. But anyway, um,
Especially a black guy with tattoos and shit. I mean,
yeah,
what
on
the
my
hell?
neck and everything. Like, come on.
Yeah, but we should have a whole episode on the internet. The internet's
Yeah.
a strange place, bro.
It is,
Some people
very.
get wound up over the dumbest shit, and I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've said some really offensive things on this podcast, and those things haven't created such a buzz as Pineapple Pizza did. I have never gotten more ignorant comments and hate about my stance on Pineapple Pizza.
Mhm.
I have said horrible things on this podcast. I even said things that I'm shocked that no one even touched base on, because there's something, I'm not even going to bring it up because I'm afraid to. There's something I said on this podcast that I was like, I'm going to get some hate for that.
Mhm.
And no one commented. But Pineapple Pizza, that was the line for everyone.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So that's what I got for you.
All right. Well, that's it.
Thanks y'all for listening.
Mhm.
If you would like, share, and subscribe, if you would tell your friends if you find this content interesting, it helps us, and it helps us with the algorithm. Because again, I say I don't understand what the hell's happening, but our stuff is getting flogged, and I don't like it. So
Not on TikTok though. Not on
not
TikTok.
on TikTok. We're
TikTok
doing
is
great
good.
on TikTok.
It's good on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.